have the altar rail or the kneeler to kneel on. And that's where you say, Bishop, you should reconsider this because it's a lack of charity to people who are old, people who have, medical issues, people who need the support of a kneeler or an altar rail if they want to kneel down. Why would that be denied? My goodness, the whole history of the Catholic Church is to make it easy for people to pray, not to make it more difficult. So I think, as we know from this bishop's previous actions, he has a hostility to traditional liturgical ways. And this seems just to be a further extension of it. And I would ask him, please re-examine your presuppositions here. Is the greatest problem in the church people who like traditional liturgy? Of course not. Are people kneeling down to receive communion? Is that really a problem? Of course not. That becomes a problem simply for those who consider that old ways have to be done away with. And for me, that's just a personal imposition that has nothing to do with the law of the Catholic Church.
What happens in this circumstance where there's a parish that has altar rails as a part of their, as part of their church for many, many, many years? And the bishops now said you can't use those. And so they have the communion lines up in the main aisle, let's just say. But the lay folk decide, you know what, we're going to go to the altar rail anyway. Will the parish priest be forced to not give them communion in that circumstance? It becomes very awkward very fast. What happens?
Yeah, well, again, this is, I have to see the decree to figure out exactly what the bishop is saying. For instance, if he says you can have an altar rail, but you can't use it, that he can command priests not to distribute communion at it, but the lay people can say, well, I have a right to receive communion kneeling, and I can't kneel down on the ground, outside of the altar. I'm going to kneel on the ground. And then the priest will say, well, the duty of charity is to administer the sacraments because the people have a right to receive the sacraments. So in that case, the priest say, Bishop, I'm sorry, the people want to do it this way. Give me further guidance. But in the meantime, I'm not going to deny parishioners communion simply because they're kneeling in a place you don't want them to. Now, I want to see if the decree says you have to remove altar rails. I don't know if that's going to say that.
There are rumors, but we don't know. This has not been verified that they're in fact trying to remove altar rails from some of the churches. Again, not verified, just being spoken of online. So before we run out of,
go ahead.
I was going to ask you about.
And by the way, Joe, the thing is, the priest in the parish could get the decree and then write to the bishop, say, Bishop, I'm having canonical recourse against this decree because I think it violates X, Y, Z in the Catholic canon law.